Hi, today we've got Liam from Time Doctor. Hey, Liam, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, so Liam, tell me exactly what your role is at Time Doctor and what Time Doctor is really all about.
I'm the co-founder of the company and I'm in charge of marketing. So basically Time Doctor is what we define as a time analytics tool. So a lot of companies will track how much time is spent inside of their business, but they won't know how productively that time is actually spent. So what we do is we measure all of the variables that impact that work. So as an example, right now I'm doing online meeting. I've been doing this task for 2 minutes and 28 seconds, and I have been spending time on Zoom meeting ID 558 something, 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 and I've been spending 38 seconds on Gmail so far. So I can, at the end of this particular task, assess how efficiently I did it and what applications and websites I was interacting with to be able to accomplish this task.
Got it. And so it's a self-assessment tool, but it's also for senior management to actually make use of to see how efficient the employees are.
That's generally how we deploy it. So we work for large-scale call centers and we work for large-scale organizations, dev teams, where they could say, well, how much time I'm actually applying to a particular ticket, as an example. Let's say that a developer, let's say that there's a problem inside of your software company, and you really want to know exactly how long it took to accomplish that particular task.
Right.
Time Doctor can give you that data, and then you can correlate that to actual dollars and cents.
Very cool. Very cool. So talk to me a little bit about in terms of differentiation in comparison to some of your competitors. How do you differentiate? What are some of the unique differentiators out there?
Biggest one for us is we've always structured ourselves as a productivity tool, not necessarily a time tracking or time monitoring tool. So initially, the product was actually built to scratch some of our own itches, me and my co-founder. I know when I started working on this, I actually had run a remote tutoring company. And I had about 200 remote tutors throughout North America and throughout Europe, and they were all graduate students. And the problem that I would constantly get back from these tutors is, well, I actually did work 10 hours with Jimmy, but then Jimmy comes up and says, you didn't actually work 10 hours with me. So now I can directly confirm that data, not necessarily by having the tutor turn on or turn off, okay, I'm working with Jimmy right now, but being able to collect all that data in the background so that the tutor doesn't even have to access the app or interact with it to any degree. They can automatically get that data how they need it. So that's basically the big differentiator, is they don't have to account for their time and they don't have to think about what they're doing. It's just is automatically accounted for them without the user really interacting with the software at all.
Very useful. So talk to me about pricing. How much does this cost?
Pricing starts at $10 per user per month and goes down dependent upon, if you're adding 50 or 100 seats, we can always give you a discount at that point.
Okay, reasonable. Ideal client size and maybe a vertical, and then talk to me in terms of take that a step further and say, okay, here's an example of a particular case study of someone who made use of it in terms of an ROI, whether it was in dollars or efficiency or savings. If you could maybe talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So we have clients like AT&T, Home Depot. We have SurveyMonkey. We have a bunch of other clients that you can go and check out on our website and check out the testimonials there. But fundamentally, where our real niche is a team that's primarily remote. So as an example, in our company, we have 65 employees located in 22 different countries.
Right.
We're always online, we're always working, and everyone works from co-working spaces, which is actually what I'm in right now.
Right.
So in terms of our niche, would probably be remote companies that are really looking to be able to figure out how to get that managerial layer without actually physically having offices set up all over the planet.
Okay, very cool. Where do you go from here? I mean, what's your long-term plan? And when I say long in technology, it's 2 to 3 years, right? So
Sure.
Where do you see yourself in 2, 3, 4 years?
So growth has been fantastic. Over the last 4 years, we've been doubling every single year, and that's been very exciting for us. Really, the growth for us is we want to be able to really work with some of our integration partners. So we integrate with over 40 products right now. Absolutely anything connected to project management, task management, ticket management, anything under the sun we basically integrate with.
Right.
And how we see ourselves is being able to add time analytics into all of the things that you currently don't use time analytics in. So
Okay.
who's your most efficient sales rep? Well, actually, let's say you're using Salesforce. You can integrate with Salesforce and get that data. And that's really our core differentiator, and also the direction that we're currently doubling down on. Because for us, we know that you're probably already using a whole bunch of other products inside of your technology stack, and we just want to integrate seamlessly into that stack for you.
Okay. Sounds like you have a lot of customers. So what is the most common challenge or request that you get from your customers as it stands today?
Boy, I would probably say in terms of resistance,
Mm-hmm.
and in terms of resistance, no one really likes time tracking software.
I see.
Right? No one wants to, hey, I'm an employee, I work in the company too. Founder of the company, but I work in the company too. I use the software just like everybody else.
Yeah.
No one really wants to have their time tracked.
Sure.
But when we focus on a productivity tool instead of necessarily a monitoring tool, that's one of the biggest, that's basically the biggest barrier. And the biggest barrier is, hey, this is time tracking. And the way that we overcome that is, yes, it's time tracking, but how would you like to actually show your employer how efficient you are in the company? Right. Not necessarily that you're the guy that everyone thinks is wasting time. In reality, you're actually doing great work.
Right.
I know that I get that quite a lot, but in reality, I do a lot of work in the company. People don't necessarily see it because they see that I'm doing, podcasts with fantastic people as yourself. So it's not necessarily the same work, but you can communicate that much more clearly when you have quantifiable data to present to people. Yeah,
very cool. Very cool. So if I'm interested in moving forward, what's the process and what is the time to actually get started? And what are some of the difficulties I'm going to have in getting set up? Am I going to have a huge learning curve? Talk to me a little bit about that, if you would, please.
So the beauty of it is sign up for a 30-day trial. Literally, you put in your email address, put in a password, you integrate with one of the integration partners that we already have. So if you're using something like Jira or Asana or Salesforce or Basecamp or whatever it might be, you click a button, you click integration, you will automatically have all of your users pulled into the system. And then you can just invite people literally with a single click. You can go from not having, completely brand new to the process and deploying 50,000 seats in under 5 minutes.
Okay. So in terms of the user interface, usually it's very, very easy to understand for the users. They don't really.
That's what we've primarily built for is we really are somewhat in the SME niche, but we started in the SMB niche. So it has to be, literally, it has to be a self-serve product. So that's where we came from. But most enterprise companies are kind of scared when they say, what do you mean it's not going to cost $200,000 to deploy? Like, it's not. You can start in 5 minutes,
for sure,
and you're done. It's literally that easy. So you can do those deployment. We do on-premise and we do cloud as well. So all of those options are currently available, and they're very sort of turnkey solutions.
Now, are you going to go mobile as well, or are you already doing that?
We have an iOS and an Android app for mobile. We also have a Chrome app as well. So Chrome, Mac, Linux, iOS, and Android.
So how does tracking occur on the mobile experience?
So on Android, it's actually quite cool. iOS is quite difficult. iOS, they have a closed garden, and it's very difficult to actually get that type of data. But on Android, you can get as much data as you'd like. So if you want GPS locations, if you want to be able to say, hey, I'm currently in my workspace, you can enter that GPS area, geolocation area. Say, hey, I'm currently looking now, and now I'm tracking all my websites and applications. You can do that on Android. So there's functionality. Even if you're doing something as easy as, let's say you're making deliveries, you could easily do that too. We've even had people that, I think we have a guy that's literally cutting lawns, and he's got 50 or 60 people that literally just drive around in trucks. Not our intended use case, but he's been using it, which has been interesting.
All right, Liam. Well, hey, we drive a decent amount of traffic to crowdreviews.com, and companies or our visitors are looking for, a time productivity measurement tool. Should certainly look at Time Doctor. I certainly think that, hey, it could be a great option. And I presume it's just timedoctor.com to go to the website, correct?
timedoctor.com. Check out the reviews as well. And but if anyone wants to check it out, just go to timedoctor.com.
For sure. Hey, thanks so much for your time, man.
No problem.